Okay, good evening to you all. Today is 4th February 2025, which is our day 22 of this IT employability skills bootcamp for women. Like always, we start by showing our outlines. That is what we are to cover for the day. So today we'll have a recap on day 15. Then we'll talk about your survey, that is the just concluded survey which you have done. And again, today we are going to have an introduction to Microsoft Excel. After that, we'll look at the Excel interface. We'll talk about width and height. We'll talk about Excel cells and cells designations. And we'll also talk about cursor in Excel, table and table border. And we'll also talk about grid lines. Then we'll have question and answer, conclusion, and then we'll call it a day. So these are what we are going to cover for the day. So last day, if I can recall, on day 15, we talk about data collection survey. We'll talk about the survey. Uh, we discussed about it, what you need to do, how you need to conduct it, and the rest. So I'll just skip all these days because day 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Today is day 22. So you all from the 16 to the 21 is all for the survey assessment which you have done. So so far I believed you have sent your files, that is your survey data, survey report. I believe you sent all that to the email address provided. So please, if you haven't, try as much as you can to do it, because by tomorrow, those who fail to do that will be removed from the group, or tonight. I don't know, but I believe anybody who failed to submit his own report or his own data will not go into, the person will not continue this bootcamp with us. So we'll talk more about this data that you have with you right now. We'll talk more about it, because all what you are going to learn today is going to be related to that data you have collected, because we'll teach you a lot of things related to the data, how to bring insights about the data, how to work with the data, and how to do a lot of things with the data. So hold your data. We already have the data. We'll look at your reports. And I think, yeah, I will see. When you are writing the final report with the analysis and whatever, maybe then we'll look at the challenges that you have encountered. We'll look at that. Or maybe, I don't know. Please, we're supposed to look at that today, tonight. We're supposed to. Maybe tomorrow we can let other things to. It's okay. We'll talk about the challenges maybe later. We'll talk about that. So I believe you all have your experience. You all have different experience, different challenges, a lot of things. I believed you all see a lot of things in the field, and you started to learn. You learn something, no matter how little you learn something during the this field visit that you have done. So don't worry, just hold the data, don't delete it, even though you send the data. So hold the data. We are going to learn a lot from what you have collected. Okay, so that's it. So the next thing today, our class, we are going to have introduction to Microsoft Excel. That what we are going to discuss today. We'll have this introduction. So we are going to talk about different things, or a lot of things related to this. We'll look at what Microsoft Excel is all about. We'll look at the interface of it. Then we'll learn some few things related to it, and we call it a day. So first of all, what Microsoft Excel is all about. What is all about. Uh, can anyone help us with that? When you hear Microsoft Excel, what comes to your mind? Okay, so like Microsoft Word and PowerPoint that you learn, Excel is also part of the Microsoft Office tools, which I think I told you right from the beginning that there are lots of tools under this package, a lot of tools, but we've been using most of the ones we've been using are kind of the Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, Access. They're the most frequent ones that we use. Then Outlook, some people use Outlook, but here in Nigeria, we don't normally use Outlook, but in other countries, they focus more on using Outlook and other tools in the office. So Excel is like it's a software, of course, like Microsoft, Word, like I told you, or Microsoft PowerPoint, but it's mainly used for calculations. That's what it is used for. But it can also be used for data collection and entry. It can also be used for data analysis, data visualization, you know, all this data processing, data cleaning that has to do with that. So you can do a lot. You can use it to do a lot of things. That's what the Excel is all about. So it's kind of it's very powerful. Even these tools that you can see, Excel. To me, I can say Excel is the most powerful out of the 11 Office tools that are there. So Excel happens to be the most powerful among them. And Excel, when uh, you open it. Let me just open it since we are having introduction to it. I'm stopping my screen, so let me open. I'm sharing back the screen so that I'll open the Excel so that as I'm speaking about it, you are seeing what we have. So this is Excel. Whenever you open it, this is how it looks like. Like this is what Excel is all about. So by default, when you open it, Excel looks like this with all these grid lines and whatever you see. It's kind of scary, and but it's exactly the way Microsoft Word is, or the way PowerPoint is the same thing that our Excel is. So it's just you have all these lines and all these boxes for it to differentiate between one cell and the order. So this is the interface of the Excel, and like I told you, it's very very powerful, unlike the other tools that you have used so far. Because as you can see, this Excel, I just open it. I open the file by default. This is what is called a workbook. So whenever you open it, you will see book one at the top of it. So it means this is a workbook, the entire workbook of this. That what workbook is all about. But this page that you are seeing is a sheet. They just call a sheet. That what sheet is all about. It looks like. That why it is called spreadsheet. But take note, when some people talks about spreadsheet, they don't normally refer it to Excel, but some they refer it to Excel or Google Sheet. So there is Google Sheet, there is Excel. So when they say spreadsheet, they might mean either of the two. So it can be Excel and it can also be Google Sheet. So there are two sheets that we have, but yeah, you can call them spreadsheets. So this is the sheet. As you can see, this is sheet. If I come here and click on any plus here, you see I create another sheet. Sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. I can create sheet 4. If I want, I can double click on it or just right click and click on rename. Then I can name the sheet the way I want it. Maybe I can name it Ahmad, for example, and press enter. That's the name of the sheet. Or if I want, I will turn it to back to the way it is, sheet 1. Then I'll press enter and you just rename and rename the sheet. So if you like, you can delete it. Just right click on it and click on delete. Right click on it and also click delete. Right click and delete. So these are the sheet. So this sheet, as you are seeing alone, can take a lot of things because as you can see, this sheet alone has about 1 million 1,048,576 rows in it. That's what it has. As you can see, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. So you have about 1,048,576 rows. So now if I hold control and press down key, it will definitely take me to 1,048,576, like I told you. So these are the number of rows that we have in this sheet alone. So each sheet that you open has the same rows with the previous sheet. So that what it is. That what how powerful this uh, Excel is. And also the columns of all this that you can see. For the columns, we have about, for the columns, there is about 16,384 columns. This column 1, column 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 16,384. So these are the number of columns that are present in one single sheet. So we have millions of rows and we have thousands of columns in the same sheet. So we can have one sheet, two sheet, we can have up to more than 250 something sheets in one single workbook. All this that I'm saying are saved in one single workbook. Now if I click Ctrl S to save the file, I will rename it. That means I save the workbook, and that workbook is what contains all these sheets, all these rows, and all these columns that I'm speaking about. So if you look at this, you see that one single file of Excel can take the entire data of Nigeria, all the data of Nigeria. It can take everything in one single workbook. So since one sheet can take 1 million rows, it means if we can get 36, or if we can get 200 rows, then we can get 200 millions entry of data. So these are the things that uh, how powerful this Excel file is. And that's why you see all the data that are saved in Nigeria, every data in Nigeria or in the world is always saved or exported back to Excel. It was always exported back to Excel. So the payroll, the school database that you are hearing, all the admission, everything you are seeing, the raw data always go back to what? It goes back to Excel. That's how it is, because Excel is where everything resides, and that's where every data was saved in. So now you understand what this sheet it all is all about. You understand we can have multiple sheet. You understand what workbook is all about. So you believe now workbook is a very powerful tool. So when you see one single workbook of Excel or one single file of Excel that is a workbook, you know that that workbook can take a lot, and the workbook is very, very important file. So don't just delete a workbook. You can delete the entire data of a country or a state or something like that. So that's how it looks like. Unlike all these Microsoft Word that you learn and the rest all like that, this one is something quite different. And again, Excel is kind of so scary to a lot of people, because believe me, there are the people that know how to use this tool are not many, especially in Nigeria. There are not many. So consider yourself as you are very lucky when you are learning this. You know how to work with it. It will definitely help you in your workspace. It will help you to do your work very easier, more efficient, and more professional. So that one thing about it is very, very important, and it will help you a lot to do a lot and to uh, uh, do many things in a very easier way. So after talking about the sheet, the workbook, now let's talk about the these grid lines. All these lines, like I told you, these lines that you are seeing is just here to guide you to know that there is difference between this and this. There is difference between this and this. That's why these lines are there. But if you want to remove them, just come to view. When you come to view, You see, all these are grid lines. If you untick this grid line like this, you see, this is how it looks like. It's just a blank white page. The way Microsoft Word looks like, that's how Excel looks like. But these grid lines are there just to guide you to know that there is this, there is that. So don't get scared with all these grid lines. Don't get scared with them. So it's very kind of not that scary. So now you know what grid lines is all about. If you were asked, so grid lines are all these, as you can see, all these lines. So if you remove them, you remove them. And take note, even if you want to print anything here, it's going to be printed white on a white sheet or white paper. So these lines, as you can see, are just a cover. It's not normal lines. It's not the border that you want. So even if you want to create a table, you want to create anything, these lines are not counting. You can't count this line. You need to put the lines by yourself. So that's what you need to understand. Okay, so another thing that we'll talk about is the cell and cell designation. So when I click on any box here, you see I'm just clicking on something. That what is called a cell. Each where I click, as you can see my mouse moving, anywhere I click is just showing a what that I click on something. So that's what Excel is all about. So whenever you hear a cell in Excel is this, and each cell has a designation. Each cell has a designation. It has a name. Each cell in Excel, all these cells that I speak, all these cells, all of them, they have a what? They have a name. So if you come here, they have a name. Each and every one of them has a name. So that what is called cell designation. So now, before I talk about the designation of the cells, if you look at it, you see that we have 1, 2, 3 like this. That's the row. We have this like this. That's the column. So the 1, 2, 3 are the rows, while the A, B, C, D are the columns. So the intersection of this column and row is what will give you the cell designation of each cell within Excel. Now, if I click here, look at the intersection of this the column and row. So when I say the intersection, you know, is where they connected. So now if you look at this, you see, this is the cell. So now I click on here. This is the column. So it means I'm on column C, while row is 4. Then I'm on column 4. So the name of this particular cell that I'm here is cell C4. That's the name of the cell. So that's how you will know the designation of each cell within Excel. Now, if I click here to tell you L6 because it's column L and then on what? On row 6. So that means the name of this particular column is what? Is L6. All this you need to understand this because when you started writing formula, when you started writing a lot of things, you need to call the name of the cell to do what you want. That's how it works and that's how it is. For example, let me just show you one thing so that you understand this better. If I said, for example, equals to B3 plus B4 and I press enter, definitely I will get 0. So if I come to B3, I say B3 and B4. This is B3 and this is B4. So I was saying in this column that whatever is in B3 and whatever is in B4, I want to plus them together. So if I come here in B3 and I put 10, and I come here in B4 and put 10, it will definitely give me 20. That means I take the cell designation. It has nothing to do with whatever data I have here. If I change it to 30 or 50, it will definitely give me 60. If I change it to 90, it will give me 140. Whatever I put here based on the cell designation that I put in my formula, it will plus whatever I put here, it will definitely plus it here for me. So that's what this cell designation is all about. So make sure you understand this. So any cell you are, you click on it, think of this, the intersection of the column and row will give you the name of the cell. You are done with that and you can move and continue with it. So that's what it is all about. So the next thing we'll talk about is we're going to talk about width and height. So already you know the column. So now if you click here, this is the column. You see this is the column. All these are the columns. So when you hear width, then you need to expand the size of the column. When you hear height, it means you need to expand the side of the what? The row. So that's what it means. So width and height, you expand. For the width, you expand the size of the column. For the height, you expand the size of the row. So let's talk about, before I demonstrate how to increase the size of the column and the size of the row, let's talk about the cursor in Excel. We discussed about cursor, if you can recall, in our, I think, D1 or D2 of this bootcamp. We talk about cursor. You know what cursor is all about. You know this is the cursor. But in Excel, there are different ways this cursor operate in Excel, not the way we use to work with it in our on the computer and the rest. So in Excel, there are lots of different features that this cursor has, which we are going to look at. Number one, the width and the height that I spoke to you, I just told you, is one of the features that this cursor has. So if you want to increase the width, just come to the edge of the column that you want to increase from the right hand side of the edge. So now if I want to increase the size of column C, I have to come to the edge of column C and look at it. My cursor will turn into, let me increase this size so that you can see it better. So now as you can see, if I come here, my cursor turn to two arrows. One is looking at the front, one is looking at the back. So if I hold right click and drag it here, you see I increase the size of column C, and column C will look like this. If I want to decrease it, I'll come here and decrease it like this. So that's how to increase and decrease the width. That's the width. Okay. So for the height, when you come here, you see here the cursor turn into forward and backward arrow, while here it turns into upwards and downwards arrow. So now if I click here, then I increase the height of the what? The row. Then I decrease. So to increase the height, you need to come to the bottom of the row that you want to increase the height. Then you hold left click, then you drag it, then you increase the height. Look at how the height looks like. If you want to decrease it, then you take it back and you decrease it. And take note, before I move, all these A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3, as you can see, are not, don't count them in any work you are doing in Excel. Don't count them. They are not, for example, now don't think when you are here, this means you are on A1. Yeah. But when you put serial number here, for example, then your serial number begins with 1. So your 1 begins with A2. So that's how it looks like. So don't get confused with this. This is just to guide you to know you are on row 1 or you are on column A or column B. So take note on that. Another feature that Kuso has in Excel again is the feature of dragging. That is to drag. Drag is like creating a duplicate in Excel. Now when I put B, for example, I just write B and I click outside the B and I come back to it. Let me just click back on it. If I come to the edge of the cursor, it will turn to black. That's another feature that it has. Take note, I talk about two features. This is third one. The two features, the first one is for the width. That is, it will show two arrows forward and backward. The second feature is height, increasing the height. That means the cursor will turn upwards and that downwards arrow. Now we are talking about the dragging. That is duplicating what is in the cell to other cells, either horizontally or vertically. So it means you need to come to the edge bottom from the right hand side of the cell, then your cursor will turn to black uh plus like this. It will turn to black like this. So when it turns to this, hold your left click and drag. Wherever you stop, it will duplicate that. Whatever you have on the cell that you drag, it will duplicate it to wherever you stopped. So if I want to create this be up to 1000, if I just hold it, I'll just continue coming down, coming down until where I reach 1000. Look at it. I'll just hold it until where I reach that 1000. Look at it. Then this is cell 1000. You see, this is row 1000. Then I will stop. It will automatically create 1000 B for me like this. So that's how it works. Then it means I drag. So it's not only B. If I put anything, for example, I put Hammad, for example, like this. If I want, I can drag. You see, I just drag, 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 drag up till where I want to stop. It will duplicate that Hammad, Hammad, Hammad for you as the uh, duplicate. That is as what you drag. So understand this. That's how you do the dragging. Make sure your cursor turn to this black before you hold left click and then you drag. That's how it works. So let me delete it. I'll hold my control shift down, then I'll delete, then I'll go back to where I am. So this is it. That's how you perform the dragging. So another feature of Excel is moving. Moving is when the cursor turns into three arrows, upwards, forward, and backwards. You see, whenever your cursor turns to this, like this, you need to come at the middle edge of the bottom of the cell. You look at it here, we are at the middle edge of the bottom of our cell. It looks like this. We have three arrows. Once you have these three arrows and you hold left click, you drag it anywhere you want, it will move whatever is in the cell to wherever you want it to be. So let me just write, for example, Ahmed. Now if I click back to the cell and I come back to the middle edge of the bottom of the cell, now if I hold left click and I drag it to wherever I want to move it, you see I move whatever is there, I move it to wherever I want it to be. So I can click it here and move it here, and I will move it here, and I can move it here. I can move it anywhere I want. I can go ahead and do that. So the next thing we have on the features of this cursor is we have a dragging highlighting feature. Please, I'm sorry. We have a highlighting feature. So for the highlighting feature is for you to select, that is to highlight. You all know what Control A is, highlight all. So in Excel, there is a way you can highlight the cell. So is for you to highlight the cell is for you to come at the middle of the cell. Don't click. That is, don't double click. When you double click, it will show you that you need to write. You will not see that feature. So what you want to do is to come click on the cell, or you don't even need to click on it, just come at the middle of it. The cursor will turn to this white plus sign like this. So now it's not that black the way it is when you want to drag. It's not that, it just turned to this white like this. So at the middle, hold your left click and just highlight it like this. That means you highlight the cells. So you, when you highlight it, you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do after you highlight your cell. So this is how to highlight. So you see, just highlight wherever you want to highlight like that. Okay. So that's it. So the next thing we are going to talk about, we'll look at the table and table border. So now if you want to insert tables, whenever you want to insert tables in Excel, like I told you, these are just a grid lines. These are not the tables here. They are just grid lines. They are not the tables. So whatever we are going to do now is, if you want to insert table, so that even if you remove this grid line, the table will remain there in Excel. So you need to learn how to insert the table. So first of all, for you to insert the table, you need to highlight how many numbers you want to put at the table. You need to highlight that. Maybe let's say I want to have 20 rows. That is 20 rows of the table. Or maybe I want to have, let's say, let me just create a simple something like this. Let me just put this full name, gender, email, state, LGA. For example, let me just put this. So when you create this, these are the headers that you have. So first of all, you highlight the number of columns that you want, then you highlight the number of rows that you want. So I'm stopping at 21 like this. So when you highlight whatever you want to select, that is where you want to put your border, because we're talking about this. You want to create your table, then you come here under here, you see where my cursor is, just click this drop down. When you click it, then you click on all borders. When you click on all borders, it's going to put the border for you at this selected cells that you highlighted. So if I come back to that grid line that I shown you before, if you tick it, you see extra where we did not put the border is just the way Microsoft Word is, but this border that we have is remain it remain where it is. It will not go away when we remove the grid lines. So the next thing you are going to do, you all learn how to decrease the size of the column. You increase the size. You go ahead and do this. You go ahead and increase this. You go ahead and increase this. You increase this the way you want, and that's how you can do all this. So this is it. This is something that you want to learn how to do it, and it's very easier to do. Just highlight whatever you want to do and go ahead and do that. So I don't want us to stop here because I believe me, we have covered what we're supposed to treat it today. But let's continue because there are two things I just want us to cover that I feel maybe is necessary for us to talk about them so that we call it a day. The next thing we are going to talk about, whatever you have here, we can talk about. We talk about the customization of it. So you see, this customization is the same customization you have done in Microsoft Word. So don't get confused. All the font style, the font size, the centralized, the only thing that you have in Excel, which is different from uh, Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, is this alignment. We have top alignment, middle alignment, and we have bottom alignment. Unlike Microsoft Word, we don't have that. What this alignment means is that now let me increase this height a little bit. You see, by default, this text, as you can see, is at the bottom alignment of the cell. What means is that the text is at the bottom of the cell. But if I come here and put it middle alignment, look at how it looks. Now the cell is at the middle of the text is at the middle of the text. Let me highlight everything and do it together so that you will understand. You see, now everything is at the middle of the text. Let me put it at the middle. This is normal middle control E that you know. But take note that control E control, this is not working here. So don't get confused. So that middle, now I put them at the center. But look at it, they are at the middle of the cell. By default, before, they are here at the bottom of the cell. Now if I put the top align, you see is there at the top alignment of the cell. So that's how it is. We also have our left alignment, middle alignment, and right alignment. That one is different. But Excel has other alignment of the top alignment, middle alignment, and bottom alignment. So normally you can put everything at the middle alignment so that your text will be at the middle of your cell and not at the bottom, not at the top. So it remains at the middle of the so that's one thing that, so for all the other text, you can bold it, you can utilize it, you can underline it. All this is something that you know how to do that. So don't get confused. For the text style, you can go ahead and font style, change whatever you want to change. You can do that. If you want to apply it across everything in the cells, highlight everything and change whatever you want to change. You increase the size, or you decrease it, or you change the font style, or whatever. If you want to highlight it across everything, that's how you go ahead and do that. The last thing we are going to cover today is to learn how to create a serial number in this. So to create a serial number, you're not going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. That's not how you're going to do it in Excel. There is a way you can create that in a very shortcut way. The first thing, there are two ways that I'm going to show you on how to do that. First of all, just write 1 and click somewhere out of the 1, then you click back to it. After that, you learn how to drag. I teach you how to drag. Just come here when it turns to black, hold your left click and drag it up till the end of the your border, where your border ends. So once you did this, it will just apply 11111 like this for you. So just come here, you see this button like this, click on it and tick on fill series, then automatically it will create 1 to 20 for you. So I can put it at the center. Then this is how you create your serial number. So even if you have 100, 200, 1,000, 10,000 rules, please don't get afraid. All you need to is just one, drag it till the end, then you click here and you turn it to fill series. It will turn to serial number. The next thing, the second way of doing it, you can put 1 and put 2. So after that, just come here and highlight the 1 and 2. Once you highlight the 1 and 2, just come at the end edge of the 2. That is the way you use to drag. Just hold your left click and drag it up till the end and stop it there. It will automatically create 1 to 20 for you. So that's another way of how to create a serial number and how to do that. And like I told you for the dragging, please let me repeat this to you. Dragging, like I said, can be horizontally or vertically. So if I put A like this, I can drag it like this, that is horizontally, and I can drag it vertically. You see, I can do all this in Excel. So I can drag horizontally, I can drag vertically. So not only horizontally that you can drag vertically. So if I want to create a serial number for one, so I can do it like this. You see, I can click here and fill series. It will create 1, 2, 3, 4 vertically for us. If I want to create it horizontally, then I can do it like this. I can click here and make it fill series. It will also create 1, 2, 3 for me horizontally. So this is how it is. Don't get confused on this. You can do it vertically. You can also do it horizontally. So this is it. I think this is where we are going to draw the curtain. This is where we will call it a day. So if you have a question, please go ahead. Ask your questions. If you don't, then we call it a day and we meet tomorrow. So if you have any question, you ask. If you don't, we call it a day. If you have your question, you ask your question. If you don't ask, have any question, then let's meet tomorrow. For some of you that send their survey report and whatever, they are the ones that will remain in the group. Believe me, if you did not send your survey, they are going to remove you in the group. So please don't come to my DM. Someone is asking me, how do I submit my I don't know, please. I don't know. You join us late. I'm not going to talk about that. You join late. So I'm not showing you how to draw how I draw the table because you join us late. Please let me tell you this. Issue of those of you coming after 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm just putting eyes on you. I'm just putting eyes on you. We all have a lot of things to do and we are here by 9. I will stop accepting people after 9 p.m. That's one thing about it. Maybe that's what I will do for some of you that are coming late and maybe you go ahead and start maybe asking question or something like that. I'll definitely going to do that. Maybe after 9, once we start, even if it is one person, yeah, I'll be here by 9. Even if it is one person, I will close the group. I will not open the group and I will not record the class. Then we continue with the ones that are present with us. I think that will be better. Yeah, so if you have network issue, it's okay. But I'm not going back to what I've just discussed. I recorded everything. I will share the video with you. So go ahead, you watch the video, and you will see definitely how we created this. Because nothing is out of the blue of this. I started this from uh from what can I say, from the beginning, the very beginning. I started all this up till where we are. So some of you that we started with them from 9 p.m. I believed you saw how I did this. It's not a magic, it's something that just watch, pay attentively. You can do it. It's very, very simple. And I believe I follow all the due process on how you can do it. And I didn't do it very fast. I'm not, so if you watch the video, you will see how you can do it also by yourself. Yeah, I know there is a blackout throughout the most of the Northwest state, I believe. So I don't know. I don't know. So it's okay. Maybe Nepal will come back. If you have question, you ask. So I think there is no any question. So I will share the video with you when it's ready. Maybe so you watch. Go ahead and watch it. And please don't miss today's this introduction to what we have done so far. Don't miss it because if you miss this introduction, whatever we're going to do after is going to confuse you and you are going to be left behind. So we only have 18 days to go now. So tomorrow will be 17. So before you know it, the countdown will run out, and that's the end of everything. So what you have got, that's the end. So try your best to, uh, follow along and learn what you can. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. And see you tomorrow. So, bye bye.